Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with a somewhat late look at Guns of Icarus Online. Currently available on Steam for about $20 US. And the reason that's important is because I want to differentiate it from their new Kickstarter project that I'm about to talk about, which is their Adventure Mode. At least that's what they're calling it. They consider this Skirmish Mode. Of course, you've got some steampunk style ships, crew of 4 players battling it out. As you can see, this is some of the footage that I had got when I was fresh in the game. Just a variety of content I was taking a look at. So please forgive me for noobing it up. Although, if you're a subscriber on my channel, you're pretty much used to that by now. Anyways, so this Kickstarter project seems pretty interesting. They're looking at making a persistent world with a lot of unique features, adding AI, store systems, you know, and keeping it within the storyline. I guess they're wanting to perhaps allow you to crew or captain your own unique ships, explore different towns, and grab missions similar to an MMO, of course. They're looking at political systems, and it could be interesting, especially if you're adding player-run factions, because they've taken the time to really polish the ship-to-ship combat. You know, they know what they're doing with this, it seems. From what I played, it was pretty good, pretty interesting. I could see a few areas where maybe it could use a little bit more work. Generally, the netcode wasn't fantastic, but the idea, the core gameplay mechanics, and the stylization are fantastic. And I think if they can build on that with a persistent world, that could be truly unique and very original, especially in this day and age when we're surrounded by copies of MMOs. You know, it's always the standard issue fantasy. Very rarely do we get anything sci-fi. You know, obviously I've been playing some Star Wars lately, but really there's not a whole lot of variety out there. And to see something that has a Twitch-based ship-to-ship combat mechanic, but with some of those MMO features that we're familiar with, I mean, that could be, you know, pretty interesting, especially if it's got its own economic and political system. Interesting to see how players might run this, but I think that it's looking like a project that will do well. From what I can tell, they've funded the first portion of this adventure mode. They're looking at still going into getting more to grab their political system and economy, and then after that they're looking at grabbing doing world building tools if it goes into that. That's for the economic and political system. They're looking at 350,000, I believe. They reached the goal of 100,000 for their first phase, which is good. So it seems like people are interested in it. Curious to see how far that goes. I noticed that it's probably not the most played game online. You typically have to get into a lobby and crew up, but once you get in, it's a lot of fun. I mean, as you can see just from some of this, and actually I spent a lot of time just playing as an engineer because it was a very important role, I felt. You'd have a lot of people playing as gunners, and then you'd have some people as the captains or the pilots. And if you had a bad pilot, you know, I mean, they would just sometimes steer me into a ship and at ramming speed and end up damaging our ship. And so you really need a good tight-knit team. Again, of course, as I always say, playing with friends is best on voice comms, which are built into the game if you want, but you can turn those off and use Ventrilo or TeamSpeak, whichever you prefer. But yeah, you definitely need to stick with your group if you're going to play this on a pub match or a pub server. You probably want to use the built-in voice comms, because a lot of times you'll have your captain or pilot, whoever's in charge or taking charge, you know, yelling out orders. Hey, we need you over here. We need you to take care of this. Go repair this. Get on this gun. We're coming about. You know, all these cool things. You know, in this video, I didn't really have that activated just because I wanted to keep the audio clean for my commentary and dialogue here. So not really a great example of team play, but more so just showing off the game. The levels in themselves are pretty unique as well. This one was kind of cool, very foggy, and the lighting was just really good. I thought the ambience was nice, although I feel like there could be a bit more in regards to size of these levels or worlds. Perhaps, if this Kickstarter project goes further, maybe they'll look at increasing the world sizes and allowing for more travel, perhaps. I think that would be interesting if they brought it to that level, where let's say you have your crew and you're with your friends and you're traveling through these crazy worlds, maybe completing missions or quests, fighting different AI opponents and getting to objectives, and then of course ending up in maybe PvP zones. I mean, that would be ideal. I've read a little bit about what they're looking to do, and in some cases, maybe some of those things I've touched upon, but I think if they really got into it, if they really earned some coin to further flesh it out, I think that would be extremely exciting, because I remember back in the day always thinking to myself, oh, wouldn't it be great if you could have a Star Trek game or a Star Wars game where you're with your friends on a giant, warship, and you've got your engineering department and gunnery and all the positions within a ship, and you're calling out to them like, we need more power, like all that stuff that you're familiar with from any sci-fi game. I always thought that would be fun. I mean, this is on a smaller scale, of course. It's not like engineering is in a completely different deck, but it's as good as you're gonna get. And I don't know, I think there might be one other game that's similar to this, but definitely nowhere near as good. And while this may have its flaws, I think they're still doing a pretty good job with it, and I did manage to have some fun while playing. I think it would be a lot more fun with friends, of course, and I'm gonna always continue to say that. But that's any game. What game isn't more fun with a whole group of friends on voice comms? So, there's that. Taking a look at some of the rewards that they're offering on the Kickstarter page, $5 or more. You'll get access to Adventure Mode forum for updates, polls, all that jazz. Game copies are digital, delivered through Steam, PC, Mac, and Linux. So all the platforms there. That's going to give you closed beta access and the Kickstarter exclusive Dust Rider 2.0 costume. There are different looks, I believe, that you can get through the game, leveling up and whatnot. Some swag, any pledge for 30 per item. Your choice of t-shirt, poster, iPhone case, bullet USB drive, or cloth map. And to play Adventure Mode, you must own Skirmish Mode as well. So you're going to have to pick this bad boy up. Again, that's about $20 US. That's not bad. It'll probably get you used to the gameplay mechanics anyway. And those were the early tiers there. And of course, you get higher. They're pretty specific here because a lot of Kickstarters are kind of vague at what they're offering. $10 or more. Adventure Mode DLC. Attention, this does not include Dust Rider 2.0. Will include beta and forum access though. And then you've got some estimated delivery dates. This is looking like a 2014 project. June to be more specific if possible. Who's to say that would be true? You never know how these things go. Let's see, what do we got here? Pledge $20 or more. Those are all gone, actually. 500 backers. Those have been snatched up. $20 as much. Adventure Mode Plus. KS exclusive Dust Rider 2.0 costume collector's edition. Skirmish Mode soundtrack and captain's costume pack plus Dust Rider 1.0 costume plus poster plus button. Shipping, of course, outside of US subject to $10 surcharge. But those have been snatched up. That's pretty cool. People are into it. How about $30 or more? 265 backers so far. First Flight Adventure Mode. Kickstarter exclusive Dust Rider. A lot of the costumes being given away. Skirmish Mode, soundtrack, captain's costume. and whatnot. So 50 or more. And then these packages are all going to go all the way up to the granddaddy of... oh, I just lost it on my page. If I can scroll properly here, that'd be nice. There's a lot of info. $10,000 or more. Actually, one backer, Lord Lady Patron of the Air. Interesting. That's fantastic that somebody's actually done that. A lot of passionate gamers out there, which is why Kickstarter is not a bad platform at all. Again, if you really want more in-depth details, that's just me kind of scanning over the page. I definitely suggest you take a look at the page itself. Remember, when you donate on Kickstarter, you don't get billed unless the project gets funded. So there is that, and they pretty much outline every single little detail. So the AI director PvE/co-op features or functionalities that they're looking at adding, which I believe has already been funded, so that portion will get developed. So again, if we look at this, the pledge goal by itself covers the AI director. This will get us to full PvE/co-op functionality, so you'll finally be able to grab some friends and gang up on the computer in PvE battles. That also makes sense as a skirmish edition we can release on its own if it comes to it. And it says, did we mention we're also working on AI-driven biplanes? Interesting, and there's some graphics and screenshots on the page as well. Some interesting art to look at there. You'll definitely want to check it out. And then the next step they're looking at is the econo-political system, which is really interesting. But you know, they're looking at 350,000. Will they make it? I don't know. We got 20 days to go, and they're at 115,000 plus. So that would be interesting, because I think that's where it gets really interesting. I don't know how I feel. I don't really put that much value on the world building tools, as long as they were to build a core world on their own, and then have this political and economical system running off of that. That'd be pretty great. But see, I see really great potential here. And there's only really been one other Kickstarter that I've really gotten behind, and it was, for that tactical shooter that I wanted to work. Unfortunately, that didn't get funded, but this one could be quite unique. I'm intrigued, and I want it to work because, I don't know, I can just see me running around with a bunch of friends and just, doing all the things that we're spectating here. And having a lot of fun with it. Because, it's a blast, literally. And I think that a lot of good can be done here in terms of originality. And that's what I always try to talk about. Even with myself, if I was to create art or graphic design or make something of my own, I strive for that originality. And, the whole steampunk genre is nothing new, but bringing it to this level, allowing us to control these highly detailed warships and do it with friends, that's something that I can definitely get behind, because it's just different. And I'm just tired of seeing the same old rubbish over and over and over again. And as much as I enjoy a good modern day military shooter, I'm just tired of them. That's why it's a breath of fresh air to go back to a game like Star Wars The Old Republic, or jump into something that's just science fiction that takes me away from reality, because you're going to walk outside your house, or go outside once in a while, and you're going to get tons of reality. Sure, maybe you're not in a firefight every day of your life, which is quite a good thing. But, you're going to see all that stuff on the news and movies, and it's nice to come into a game, take control, and have something different, and just kind of get away from things for a while. And, the nice thing about even just playing the skirmish mode is it's really quick. Let's say you have very little time to run around, play, and do something. Jump in, maybe do a match, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, get a couple rounds in, and just have some fun with it. This spectator mode is actually kind of cool, although I wish there was a bit more control with it. You can kind of zoom in and pan around the different ships. It's fun watching the little guys run around on the ships and whatnot, but I think that's that. So, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've enjoyed this look at Guns of Icarus Online and me talking about their new Adventure Mode Kickstarter. Again, link will be in the description below. Go ahead and check it out and just see it for yourself. They've got a video on there talking a little bit more about it, as well as a bunch of art, screenshots, and whatnot. So, again, thank you so much. I will see you on the next one.